So last session we have discussed about threat hunting techniques and what will be the methodology for hunting the indicators that we receive the during the shift. Okay, so it includes the IP addresses, it includes hashes, it includes processes, it includes domain names as well. तो हम लोग ये सारी चीज़ों को उठाते हैं and then we do a we do a threat hunting. Threat hunting means we have to hunt for we have to check that threat in our environment. Okay, let me share my screen so I can give you a better idea about what's threat hunting. So here we okay, so bad. Here we have, right, so the dash, this is let's say this is the dashboard. Okay, once the analyst receives an alert, let's say there is an alert and this alert says, so this alert says source IP.
और भाई स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हुआ।
I guess शेयर दोबारा शेयर कर देता हूँ. अभी देखो शेयर हो रही है. Is it shared now? Check now. It was shared. Yes. मेरे पास शो हो रहा है that it was shared. Now can you guys check if it's still shared? Okay. So we receive an alert of a password failure. Okay. And this alert is coming from a public IP that says this. Oh, it cannot start with 192. And then we have so whenever you receive a whenever you receive whenever you receive an alert about login failures, it means that we will receive the username that is being targeted, right? So username is also considered indicator of compromise. So what do we do with this information? Just give me a minute. So so what we do with this information, let's say that the SOC analyst says that this IP. So whenever he checks this IP, this IP's rating is malicious. Okay, ये malicious IP है. And the username we receive is, let's say he is targeting our administrator. Okay. Now he will have to. So administrator is also indicator of compromise. Why? Because can you hear me now? Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I received. I cannot hear you. Have you started yet? Can you guys message on WhatsApp and tell him yes we have started? Okay. So now so now we have why indicator of compromise is administrator as well, because administrator is being used to it's being used in the activity to compromise the asset, right? So what do we do with this information? Let's say that this IP is malicious, okay? And now we have the process lsays.exe. What is lsays.exe? What is it used? Why is it used in Windows? And why am I mentioning it here? So the reason is because lsas is used for login process. Okay, whenever there is a login, there is a network login, you can see the lsas.exe process being executed for authentication. So now this is the process, this is the username, this is the IP address. We might also get the hash of the process, right? So what can we do next? Now what can we do next? Now we so the SOC analyst doesn't have one dashboard, right? He this is a SIEM solution. This is the dashboard of a SIEM. Okay. Now we found these information, and see, level one is just doing the examination of if it is false positive or not. If it's not false positive, then it transfers to L2. ठीक है, तो L2 then what वो क्या करता है, right? वो L2 फिर इसको information की verification करते हैं कि is it really false positive or is it really true positive. So he checks the reputation, he do the dynamic and static analysis. ठीक है. After that, what does L3 do? Now, we have had a meeting with one of the vendors, and shockingly, they said that in Pakistan, L3 do not exist. So I was surprised. Anyways, so they exist. What they do is um they are also part of threat hunting team. They are also part of the digital forensics team. They also do malware analysis. Okay, so now this is a SIEM dashboard. Okay, and this is XDR's dashboard. Okay, we can use any. Let's say the in Wazoo there is one OS query. Yes, let's say this is our OS query. So in OS query, it can be integrated with Wazoo, SIEM Wazoo. Okay, it's a solution for security information and event management. So here we have Wazoo, and here we have OS query, which is deployed. Now, so for SOC analyst is gonna do the correlation. Let's say that we are receiving this under DC01. So this is the server that we are receiving. It means that we are receiving the hits from this IP to this IP. Okay, so this IP can have this. Oh, sorry, this asset can have let's say 172 65 and 71. Okay. Now, in this dashboard, remember, we are doing threat hunting. Okay. We are doing threat hunting. And while we do threat hunting, so SOC analysts also perform that. But in many of the organizations, inside Security Operations Center, there is a dedicated team for threat hunting. In also GCC countries, there is a dedicated team who is doing threat hunting on daily basis. But in Pakistan, or in India or in Nepal, what they do is they combine SOC L3 and threat hunting roles together, and they tell SOC L3 to perform threat hunting as well. So out of the so it is a bit out of the scope, but L2 also has to go through this for a certain time. Like let's say that this is not decided yet. This is still false positive. Okay, once it's true positive, then these indicators will be transferred to threat hunting professional, and he will do the hunting. Okay. Now in the dashboard, in the XDR, or let's say on the OS query, we have just a minute, guys. Guys, give me a 2-minute break. Okay. So in the dashboard of the XDR or the endpoint security solution, what we'll do, we have to check these IOCs. What is the main difference between SIEM and the dashboard, the XDR? Anyone? What is the main difference between the SIEM? Why do companies deploy SIEM solution and along with it they deploy the XDR as well? क्या वजह है? Anyone?
I think the SIEM would be able to collect logs or data from different sources,
But SIEM also
and
does that, right?
yeah, maybe it's a superset, and XDR would be a subset of it.
What is the main reason of XDR then? You said that they collect logs. Both of them they collect logs. Otherwise, they are not able to match the rules. They are not able to match the use cases, and no one will see anything on their dashboards because there is no logs, right? How the XDR will decide that this is malicious or not? It's through their customized rules and in built-in rules. But what is the main difference? Both of them does the same thing, right? This is endpoint. What about SIEM? I told the students in the last session that no answer is correct. It's just a correct answer for another question, right? So do not be afraid of telling me what's in your mind. Why do we need to have SIEM and XDR? Like why companies do have? It's not necessary. It's not a it's not it doesn't fall under compliance as long as you are monitoring and hunting and responding to threats. But why is
SIEM
it?
are within the network, and XDR is for extended data sources like cloud and other.
But what is the so no? But SIEM also can work on that way. SIEM, see, XDR, it's what endpoint detection and response. What about SIEM? Security information and event management. What about XDR? Why XDR cannot be security information event management? CrowdStrike, how they sell their product, they do is they tell the companies to not buy SIEM and buy EDR, XDR, endpoint solution, rather than buying the SIEM, because they say that SIEM is useless because whenever the attack happens, it will happen on the endpoint, right? So the main difference is you can collect all the logs in your SIEM, but about XDR, it's endpoint solution, right? Endpoints means the laptop that user is using or the system that user is using. So SIEM will have all the firewalls, will have all the switches data, will have all the servers data, but XDR does not have the capability to include all these systems. It has to be endpoint in order for the XDR to give you the alerts and to be integrated. Okay, so the main difference is XDR is used for endpoint protection, and many companies are now leaving SIEM behind and trying to deploy. It's a regulatory requirement. SIEM is a regulatory requirement, but still there are companies who are just using XDR. So the main difference is they are more focused on doing the threat detection on the endpoint itself rather than the holistic view of the infrastructure. Okay, we have these IOCs. So the why okay, there are two methodologies whenever we do the threat hunting. So number one is indicator of compromise. And before indicator of compromise, indicator of attack. What is an indicator of attack? See, it's in simple language, right? Indicator of compromise. बहुत ही आसान है, ठीक है? Indicator of compromise. कुछ इंडिकेशन दे रहा है, राइट? किस चीज की इंडिकेशन दे रहा है? कंप्रोमाइज की इंडिकेशन दे रहा है. अच्छा, इंडिकेटर ऑफ अटैक इज what is it indicating to the attack, right? What, like, so what's the difference between both of them? Indicator of compromise and indicator of attacks, compromises. Okay, now what's the difference between both of them, and are they same? I just told you that these are indicator of compromise, but on what basis did I tell you this is indicator of compromise? On the basis of number one, this is malicious, right? Why malicious? How did I verify that? This can happen through virus total and other platforms like Talos, and you have also abuse IPDB. This is very famous one. This is how I know this is malicious. Okay, when can I tell this is indicator of compromise? When the user or when the adversary is able to create the administrator or modify or log in through administrator, right? Then we can decide that this is indicator of compromise. So when does indicator of attack? Okay, so indicator of attack comes first. Indicator of compromise comes next. But in some scenarios where indicator of attack is not defined, it's not detected by the SOC analyst, what they do is, let's say that you see this alert is okay. Now let's create another one. Let's say that, okay, let me delete this. Okay. Let's create another one. Another one. Any one of you is still working as SOC analyst? No one? Or working as a support engineer or something? No one? Okay. So let's create another alert. Another alert for what kind of an alert can we have? Login failure, right? We can have account modification. Okay, let's say account modification. This is login failure. This is login failure alert. This is login failure alert. Okay. And so the dashboards are very rich in information. This is just a simulation for you to understand. Let's create. So this is how the alert will tell. This is how the alert will show on your dashboard. So an account was modified. Our account information was changed. Okay, you can name anything. Local user tried to add himself in admin group. Okay, administrator group. What will be the event ID for that? What will be the event ID for that? The administrator group. Okay, we have this. A local user was, so we, let's say that we take source IP. Now let's do the opposite. Let's take the destination IP. Destination IP is destination IP is our, and then we have a user here. Which user is going to be listed here? The user who tried to add himself. Okay, let's say Abdul Kalam. The process can be used LSS as well. No, we can use another process. Let's do this. Let's do this. We use a suspicious process. Let's say find.exe was not .exe .cpl. Let's make this interesting. And then this happens on Karachi's or LHR Lahore's 8711. This is a naming convention that I choose. Okay. Now, okay, we also can specify the IP address of this. Let's say this will be a local, right? A local one. And then 1254. Now, how many indicators of compromise do we have here? Anyone? How many indicators of compromise do we have here? Come on, someone. How many indicators of compromise do we have here? Anyone? How many? It's gonna be same as above, like 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll count all these IOC. We will count all these as IOCs. In here as well. This is our indicator of, okay, indicator of attack, not compromise yet, because we haven't decided that the SOC analyst haven't decided that this is malicious yet, right? He has to confirm through support. He has to go. The support will say, okay, this is not me, and then we have to confirm with the user, and then he has to go to the network team until we get the confirmation. Okay, this, and then the first thing we do is, this is sort of malicious IP. Then, okay, this is malicious IP. So what is the first thing that we'll do? We'll try to isolate this, right? Once we know that this is indicator of compromise, we'll try to isolate this. Okay, find.cpl. What can find.cpl do? Find.cpl can act as a process inside in a control panel, and what it can do, it can change the user, the group of this user to administrator group. Now thread in threat hunt. Now how, let's say that there will be a report. Okay, there will be an RCA report after there is an incident. There will be an RCA report who will be established by the SOC L3. In inside this RCA report, there will be this IP 187.87.9044. there will be Abdul dot Kalam, and then there will be find dot CPL, or फिर होगा 10 10 12 54. In other reports there can be a name as well. Okay, 8711. Now this is just one section, not the whole report. The whole report will be a lengthy report where the L3 will include all the timeline investigations along with the screenshots, the necessary engagements that an L3 made. Okay, so this report is then shared with the threat hunting professional who is going to check all these IPs, all these indicators in in the whole infrastructure through the tools. Let's say he has a OSQRE dashboard. There he'll do this. He'll search through all these. He'll check if the same IP is communicated with any other asset. He'll see. He'll also do the vulnerability scan on this machine, and until the threat hunting team is made sure that this indicator does not exist on other assets or other information systems. Until then, this host stay isolated. So the first thing that, once it's confirmed, you have to isolate this host. Once it's confirmed, even if it's in production, right, you have to isolate this. So this is our IOCs and IOAs. IOAs and IOCs hunt. So let's say that after, okay. Another thing. I missed this one. That let's say that let's say that after this is discovered, let's say that there was a vulnerability that was being exploited, right? Or there was a port that was open. Let's say that this port, my bad. This 7655 was open, right? And once you search through the logs, you'll see that, like, this is just the compromise indicators, right? Compromise indicators. But how do you search a indicator of attacks, right? You have to search for you have to create a query that will search for all the connections that were failed in the last, let's say, in the last 30 days, right? So you do not take this IP, you'll put this IP as a source IP, and then you'll see as a destination IP, and then you'll see how many sources or how many source IPs do you have. And you will see that mostly are malicious if you check the reputation. Okay, so ये वाला IP लेकर then you guys have to search पूरे infrastructure में, फिर आप लोग को जो है ना एक search करना होगा. And after that you will know that indicator of attacks. You will identify many indicator of attacks which will later to be blocked. Okay, so what is living off the land technique? What is living off the land technique? What is living off the land technique? What is living of the land technique? I have muted myself. So what is living of the land technique? We did do this challenge in the last session. Today we'll redo it to show you guys how did we do it. Okay, we're gonna go through the questions. फिर हम इसको जो है ना solve कर लेंगे. So, what is living of the land technique? Living of the land technique. Anyone? You see, whenever whenever there is an attack happening, I am mentioning a process, right? I'm mentioning a process. Else says, and then there can be other processes. So wherever in the previous day, in the previous eras, adversaries used processes, right, to exploit the system. But living off the land is a technique where the attackers do not use any process in order to attack the system. What does that mean? How will they be able to exploit the system further? What kind of techniques that can be used for living of the land attack, or what kind of and also whenever we think of an attack we can have the detection methodology as well in our heads, right? तो जब भी आप लोग एक अटैक के बारे में सोचना है ना, हमेशा इस तरह सोचना है कि देयर शुड बी अ मेथोडोलॉजी. Am I audible? Okay. तो जब भी आप लोग एक अटैक के बारे में सोचो ना, उसके हमेशा डिटेक्शन के बारे में भी सोच लो, राइट? सो if the attacker is if the attacker does not have any controls on the door, कोई security guard नहीं खड़ा हुआ, means that there is no control and it means that he can enter, right? So what is the detection mindset tells you? No, you have to um, put an access control, right? कि यहाँ पे गार्ड खड़ा हो एंड देन कोई बैच सिस्टम हो एंड देन अगर कोई बैच सिस्टम नहीं है, अगर कोई आउट ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर आ रहा है तो ही हैज टू रजिस्टर समथिंग. ठीक है, एक्सक्यूज मी. So so living off the land attack. What is living off the land attack? Living off the land attack means that adversaries will never use a process to exploit or compromise the system. ठीक है. So what will be the detection techniques? How? Okay, let's figure out how the living off the land attack happens, and then we'll figure out that what will be the what will be the what will be the detection techniques. ठीक है. Living of the okay, living of the land's definition is like जैसे मैंने बताया, it's not in the books. ठीक है, in the books it's very different, lengthy. मैंने जो बताया आपको बहुत सिंप्लीफाई करके बताया so that you guys can understand. ठीक है. So living of the land attack is is an attack where it doesn't use processes but it used tools, right? It use like WMI query for executing a process, for executing a malicious process. So it means that the attacker here does not have to use this. He will have to use Windows utilities in order to, let's say, compromise this user or add this user in the administrator group. Okay. So so the detection techniques are, whenever we see, let's say, there is wget. Wget is also a utility that can be used to download stuff. Okay, about curl, we can also use this to download stuff and also preview the HTML pages or web pages. We also have WMIC. This also can be used. So we have bunch of commands which can be executed by the adversaries in order to attack the system. What will be the detection techniques? How can we detect this? We can have a rule where it says that if there is any user who is who is going to if there's any user who is going to use the command line which starts which or which includes wmic or curl or wget, has to be has to be alerted back to the SOC analyst. Okay. So whenever there is an attack happening, there will be indicator of compromise, indicator of attacks, and that's how we'll do the detection. That's how we'll detect and also block these. Okay, so these are techniques. Like obligate is also a technique, curl is also a technique, but it's a technique where it doesn't use any process. Command it uses command prompt CLI, and then it compromise assets. Okay, let's do. We'll be doing this challenge. I want you to go to this challenge and download the file. And right now you guys do not have this, but we'll do this. We have bunch of commands here. Okay. I also have the CLI version. Wait. I also have this version. Okay. Okay. So and let's see the first question. So the first question says that it will list all processes. What is the name of the suspicious process? Here we can also do this, but okay, it's gonna take a few minutes, right? GUI is easier because in GUI you can just use these commands, but for every um, for every operating system, you need a specific plugin to that operating system, or either you cannot run the commands, right? So even if you run the commands here, you will not be able to fetch the exact result that you want. You can see the processes here. So this is a process here. This is process ID and this is parent process ID. What is parent process? What is a parent process? What is a parent process? Anyone? Anyone, what is the parent process? What is the parent process or what is the process itself? We know that process is used to do what? Anyone? Yes. Someone open their mic and then. What is the parent process? Parent process is, let's take the example of this process. It has a weird name. Okay, this process does not feel like it's a legitimate process. 1456, right? 1456, this process is the parent process ID. This is the process ID. So 2732, right? See, process ID. Parent process ID says 1456. Let's trace back to the parent process, right? This is the parent process. 1456, so 1456, right? Now, there is another process that is malicious. Wanna decryptor. At wanna decryptor 2732. So 2732 and 3968. 2732 is the parent process ID. This has the process ID of 2732. And then you see 1456. What does that mean? It means that it means that let's take the processes we have here. 2732 and okay, let's take this one. 3968. 3968. And then okay, and then we have the parent process ID 2732. 2732, right? And now 2732, and then if you see the, if you search for the 2732, 2732 is or4qtc is the process, and then 1456, right? 1456 is 1456 explore.exe's process. So 2732, 2732, and then we have 1456, right? 1456. Now, Explorer will have 1456 and explorer.exe will 1408, right? 1408. 1408. 1408. Now, this is explorer.exe. This is OR for qtckt.exe. Okay. Or tk.exe. And then this is WANA decryptor. WANA decryptor. Okay. What does that mean? It means that WANA decryptor सबसे end में use हुआ है to decrypt. ठीक है. And then इससे पहले क्या रन हुआ है? OR for QTC tk.exe. उससे पहले क्या रन हुआ है? Explorer.exe. It means that I go to explorer.exe. This is explorer.exe. Okay, this is explorer.exe. After this, I'm gonna, let's say, run this Python file. Once I run this process will be running, right? One decryptor will be initiated. So the parent process is the process which made this process ran. This the parent process of this is or for qtck.tk.exe, and the parent process of this is explorer.exe. Okay. Now the question says here, okay, हमारे पास suspicious process. What is the suspicious process, right? What is the name of the suspicious process? So the name of the suspicious process is one decryptor, because I've tried this in the last session. We have tried this one as well, but it didn't work. So one decryptor is the suspicious process which has 3968 ID. So the first thing it says, what is the name of the suspicious process, and then it says what is the process ID. Let's take this. I remember I was having problems. Good. So by the way, this is the GUI version, okay? But this is the CLI version. It means that we have to run commands to in order to get the information. So, and the good thing about the challenge, it is giving you this exact command line to run, and then you will get the processes. Here you just have to do run, and you'll get all the processes. Okay. Yes. Yes, Mr. Shikozi.
Okay. Good, good day, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, come
Okay,
again.
sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, I'm greeting. Okay. Okay. So, sir, please, I'm sorry for taking you back.
No problem.
I'm
Here,
totally lost. I'm totally lost. I do not know what you are currently doing. And the last class I joined, but wasn't hearing what we are saying. I logged out. So now it's coming in. I can't really say I can't really speak for sure or tell you of the truth that I'm actually following with what you actually doing, sir. I'm completely
okay.
lost.
So have
I don't
you?
know how you are going to help me, sir.
So was you able to take the session from the beginning? This session?
Okay, I believe that this session started the last time, right? The last
Okay. I am
session
repeating the
before this
same session
one.
of the last time. In Don't worry about that. I am repeating the same session of the last time. Even if you even if you didn't understand nothing in the last session, I have repeated this session in the language you understand. Okay.
Okay, sir. Can you tell me, is it threat hunting? What actually are you doing? Are you analyzing scene?
Right
What
now,
actually?
I mean,
Yeah.
practical. I'm doing memory analysis. This is not
Okay.
threat hunting, because threat hunting is the you need tools to do threat hunting, right? This does not fall under threat hunting, because it has to be right. We are doing digital forensics. It means that we haven't reached to the root cause yet, and now we are doing digital forensics in order to get all the root causes of whatever happened in the system. Threat hunting is different. Threat hunting means that, let's say that this host is compromised, right? Now we have got this process, and we can get the hash of this process. Now what will we do is we will be searching, or we will take all these indicators and we'll be searching it in our infrastructure. That's how threat hunting is done. We have different also categories in threat hunting: IOCs and IOAs. If you have missed whatever we have taught here in the previous hour, you can go through and ask me any questions. Okay. If you have any question right now, you can ask as well.
Okay, sir. I really appreciate that. But this software you are using, right? I don't know in the previous session if you actually explain how we can get access to that software.
Which one? Sock tool? You want? Okay,
Uh,
that's a
so,
lengthy process. Okay, let me show you. You are talking about this, right?
okay, sir. I'm so sorry if it will warrant taking you back. I don't know if you actually had the recorded session of the beginning. Maybe I'll go through
Yeah,
it,
yeah. This
see if
session
I
is
can
recorded.
pick
Don't
up.
worry. This session is recorded.
Okay,
Don't
sir.
worry. Yeah, don't worry. You
Okay.
can go back
Thank
and
you.
check if whenever this session is available on the internet. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
You mean like this, right? You are talking about the real tools.
Yes, I'm talking about the tools you are using to analyze, not
See.
this very one, the one I saw you going
Okay.
navigating
So
to.
let
No,
me.
no, 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 not this, not paint.
I
The one
know.
I
I
saw
know
you.
this one. Yeah, I know. So listen, we have to create a VM where we have to integrate the Wazoo solution, the SIEM solution. After that, see this SIEM solution. Why am I showing you in Paint? Because we need at least two systems in order to do something malicious. Then we'll receive this kind of alert, right? You got what I mean? We need
Yes,
a
sir.
system,
Yes,
we
yes.
need an infrastructure in order to receive alerts, and then we do the investigation. So we do not have this much of an infrastructure, right? I'm gonna show you. If we have time, if we are able to show you, we'll show you the how can we do the integration of Wazoo or OSQRE itself, if we have time. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I
S-
appreciate.
no
Thank you.
worries. No worries. Capacity matrix. So this is the Wazoo radar. I have some dashboards available right now, but I cannot show you because it's whenever like I have signed NDA, right? The non-disclosure agreement, where I cannot expose the information where I'm working right now. So this what is this? What is this dashboard? You see CVE. It's not visible. It's a little bit blurry, but you see CVE, and then this give you timestamps. This give you the CVSS rating. This give you the exact version, right? But this is for vulnerabilities. So yeah, you take these IOCs and then you search through the infrastructure in order to detect something malicious happen. Okay, back to the challenge. So I was showing you, we have took the command from here, this command, okay, this command, and we have run it here. I have removed this because I have already configured this profile in Win7SP1X86. Okay, I have did it through this, through the converter. It was a lengthy process. That's why I sat that day. I sat around for hours to figure this out. But
सर
this
क्या
command
सर
is,
क्या
yes,
सर क्या हम ये लैब कर सकते हैं ये वाला लैब सर ये वाला
your lab कर सकते हैं. Yes, it's available. Retired है, कर सकते हैं.
ओके सर
ये मैंने शेयर कर दिया आप लोग के साथ here, ये चैट पे. ठीक है.
यस सर हो गया
और secondly, okay, so this command is used for listing all the processes. ठीक है, यहाँ पे सारे processes आ गए. अच्छा, हम लोग ना बीच में ब्रेक नहीं लेंगे. ठीक है, थोड़ी सी क्लास हम जल्दी खत्म कर देंगे लेकिन ब्रेक नहीं लेंगे. तो हमारे पास यहाँ पे थोड़े से प्रोसेसेस आ गए. ठीक है, windows.psscan.psscan मीन्स दैट यहाँ पर भी इसने वही किया है. राइट, यहाँ पर भी इसने एग्जैक्ट यही किया है. अच्छा, बट यहाँ पर हम लोग जब पीएस स्कैन को सेलेक्ट करेंगे ना, लाइक हियर, इफ वी सेलेक्ट दिस ps.psscan and we say that we wanna search this, this is not working because the symbol file is missing. See, this is not working. This is not the actual result because this is not showing you what processes it ran through this. The next question here we have, why am I showing you this? Because the next question here, it says, what is the process ID for the suspicious process? We can see that 2732 is the process ID. Wanna decrypt it? This is 2732. This is the parent process ID, 2732. What is the parent process ID for the suspicious process? If it asks you what is the process ID, it would have been 273968. Okay, 2732. Why? Because it's asking for parent process ID. Now we go back to this. Now 2732, right? 2732 is the process of this. Whenever you receive an alert here, you will have to check what parent process was used in this process. It's very important because then you can identify if the parent process is malicious, right? ये process जरूरी नहीं है malicious हो. It can be legitimate process, but malicious process this can be malicious process, and then this will be non-malicious process which will do a malicious activity. ठीक है? So 2732 is the process ID of or4qtc tk.exe. ठीक है? What is the initial malicious executable that created this process? He's referring to he is referring to the Wanna decryptor. How was Wanna decryptor was created, right? So it was created through this process, the process of or4qtckt.exe. Okay. Um. To okay. Mm-hmm. ये last time भी I guess मैंने grep find use किया था. Okay. So if you drill down on the suspicious process ID, he is talking about this process. This process is a suspicious process ID. ठीक है? Means that we need to have which process ID? 2732 process ID. Okay, we have to use this process ID in order to do what? In order to find the processes used to delete files. So there is a process that is used to delete files. Here it says taskdl.exe. What did I do here? What is the command breakdown here? I said to volatility that go through the scan, but and instead of doing the whole scan for the processes, do me a scan for 2732 only. 27 uh 2732 only. Okay. One thing I'm noticing here is this is not this is very random, right? You see here, this is not random. This is coming from this is like ascending, right? 4 2 6 8 and 3 5 and then 4 and then 5 6 8 and then 10 and then 2 3, right? So I told volatility to dig more about 2732. What does that give me? It gave me three more processes, right? Four processes. One a decryptor, which has 3968, which was detected earlier, and then 2688, one decryptor, and then this one, the malicious process that you're searching for. So taskdl.exe was used for deleting the files, taskdl.exe. Okay. Now the second question is the next question is we have to find the path of the malicious file. Okay. How do we find the path of malicious file? How did we find this out? Um, I've shared with you the I've shared with you earlier the PDF file. Right. So let's run this windows.filescan. That's a lot of processes, right? We cannot do that. File scan and let's do this. Let's take this. Let's take this and just a minute, guys. Okay, so we were taking this process and let's do this. Let's see, maybe we'll find out. So this gave us an error, right? Okay. Let's do this CMD line, and then we come here. Then we do this. Command line is to get the actual command line of the process. Okay. So it says process ID, it says process arguments, and then there should be another line here. System stamp. Process arguments. Okay. So this says, and then this says this will give us the the path of the process. Let's go back to the question. The question says, find the path where the malicious file was first executed, which was this, and then can you identify what ransomware it is? Strange, because see, it's users and then OR for he is not taking the backslash here. Users and then hacker desktop. Users. I think we have submitted this one. We have submitted this path. Let me paste this is one answer. Okay, wait. Okay, this is this is now I'm giving this path. Whoever submits this, just let me know if you guys face any problem. Because I remember we have submitted this exact path. I don't know why the path changed here. See, users and then OR for VDC backslash hacker backslash desktop. How? Because here, CMD line, it says users hacker desktop OR file. Okay, no worries. Windows dot, let's do cmd line dot cmd line. And then we are doing the process. And this will give us the exact process. Okay. What if we do not specify the process? See how many command lines it gave us? For each process, it gave us the command lines, right? See, for each process. So, unencrypted.exe, right? See here, we can write that .exe as well. Here we are unable to see the .exe. And it's the same process, 3968, 3968. You see? So digital forensics is a very slow process. It's not like whenever we are doing red teaming or we are attacking the box, it's so much fun, right? We try different techniques and we enter the room. Here we do the reverse engineering of whatever happened. So it's a little bit of slow, boring technique. See here, workflow QTC. Here it doesn't have any heading. It says PDB only. Okay. So the next question says that could you identify what ransomware it is? What ransomware it is? How do we now we want to search the ransomware? What is the first file that's gonna be on my hit list? It's gonna be this one. Um, this one. Here. Yeah. See what happened here? This is any run here. You guys can do the dynamic analysis. Okay. You see the process ran, and then what it does is it changed the background and it put some tags. And then it says I want a decryptor window and your antivirus removed the decrypt software or you deleted, and he deleted the processes, some processes, and then this famous window. Okay. See WannaCryptor, WannaCry, ransomware. Process was added to the startup. Inspector object has suspicious PE structure and action similar to stealing personal data. Process with the service. What service? What service? Wait. Let's get to now we have to identify the IOCs. Um you have to identify the IOCs, get sample, no. So I cannot find the ICs, but anyways, I have here MD5. So we go to Aristotle, we'll do here the name is changed. It says diskpad.exe. And it says ransomware WannaCry.WannaCry. See, here it's WannaCry. Okay, if we go to the details, or if we go to the relations, see, it's clean. Here it's clean. But here 128.31 is malicious. Now all these communicating files are malicious. All of it. See? These are communicating files. Curator source spy.exe zip executable. So the threat hunting. So one of the techniques also threat hunting use is they'll take all these IOCs. It's not just this IOC. They'll take all the other IOCs as well, and and then they will check in the infrastructure. And also you see there are connections. I can also get let's say that if you're doing this, okay, more info, it's gonna give me more info. It's gonna tell me what registry changes has been done, what files were modified. what modules it has used. These are DLL files probably. Yes. See, what is a module? What is a module? I have repeated this many times. What is a module? What does this file do? And what does this file do? What is a DLL file? Dynamic link library, right? What does that do? So whenever there is a program, right? There is a wannadegrade.exe. Inside this, all these DLLs used. Why? Because through these DLLs, wannadegrade.exe process is giving them instructions on what to do next, right? Until it reaches to the exact purpose wannadegrade is for. This so also DLL files are also malicious files. This is a very famous file, ntdll.dll. It is used in gaming. It is used in many processes. It is also used in Windows updates as well. So, info about one decryptor. So, what is the file name for the file with the ransomware public key that was used to encrypt the private key? What is the file name for the file with the ransomware public key that was used to encrypt the private key? Means that we'll have to find .eky extension. I have also figured the answer of this, but not through this. What I did is, let's go back. I'm unable to perform the command line here, but let's go back to this. So let's run this. As this game and moving the first one. So what does malfind do? What does malfind do? What is this? What is this? What is it? This is process ID, right? But what is this? Hex dump, right? It is in each file. Hex dump can be found in each file. Our main aim is to find. Let's go back to this. We have to find the dot key, right? But it cannot be found like that. Let's do this. Dot key. You're unable to find anything through dot key. But if we run this Windows.file scan, it's gonna give me a lot of. Let me show you how are they able to find, because I have did the same thing, but I'm unable to find it. So what they do is they dump the whole. Okay, we can just dump this, right? Um, and then ransomware, and then here. So grep is used in Linux. Windows.file scan. We are doing Windows.file scan find.key and it's not giving us that. Let's do without dot. Let's see. It's not giving me anything. So here we have, it didn't give me anything. .dll profile. So what can we do is we do the dump. CMD line network scan, registry, print key, hive dump. Hive dump. I'm not sure, but file scan is virtual address. Let's do the windows.dump files, but for a specific process. Virtual address. Okay, come here. Let's do this. And then we'll be using this one. Let's take it from here. 2732. This is the offset that we will be using. Oh, come on. Four three five zero 4350. Yes, I don't think so that brackets would be used. Your address is incorrect. Okay, I'm missing. It did not do anything. It did not. Let's change the process. Let's change the process. Okay, I'm doing a mistake here. I'm using virtual address. Virtual address, this is the virtual address. Process ID, image file name, and then offset. Offset is the virtual address, right? Let's change this to physical address. There's something wrong. Wait. Quiz. Okay, quiz. So there is no process under this. Why? What they did is, see how they. This is very simple, right? We have tried to do. We have tried the same thing. We did Windows.file scan. See Windows file and then find dot key, or let's say EKY. It's not giving me anything. Char map code can't encode characters in position to 10 to 264 to undefined. Let's do. I have to sit on this error. After that, I can provide you a solution because I don't know what is the problem in this, because char map code can't encode characters. If I found the solution, I'll share it with you. Okay, guys. Meanwhile, you guys can do this, complete this challenge, and let me know if you guys get stuck at any phase. You have to do the. You have to upload the symbol. Okay. Let's wrap up this session, today's session, and let me know if you guys have anything. Okay. Just WhatsApp me or just drop it in the group. Okay. No one has anything to say. Okay. Let's end this here. Have everyone have a great day ahead. Okay. Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.